Hello, I'm Rich Lord. You're watching Rich Lord Travels. Today, we're in Manchester, going round the clubs in the Greater Manchester area and a little bit further afield. So, let's go and have a look at some grounds. I'm here outside the Tough Sheet Stadium in Bolton. Gotta be careful how you say that. This used to be known as the Reebok Stadium here in Bolton. Let's have a closer look now at the Tough Sheet Stadium. I'm a big fan of these grounds who have these supporting structures like this on the outside of the building. I do think they look really fantastic, these kind of bowl arenas with the metal structures on the outside supporting the floodlights and the stand structures. This is the Bolton Kia West Stand. It's a very windy day here in Bolton, and there's a statue outside the ground here of Nat Lofthouse. This statue is of Nat Lofthouse, OBE 1925 to 2011. Bolton Wanderers. There's an inscription at the bottom. It says, "I've got the ball now. It's a bit worn, but I've got it." There he is, Nat Lofthouse, holding a ball. Across the road from the ground, you've got the Bolton Arena. Across the dual carriageway, and here the Tough Sheet Community Stadium, Tough Sheet Building Products, and it says here proudly, "We are Bolton." One of the former grounds that Bolton used to play at was Pikes Lane. Now, interestingly enough, Bolton Wanderers, also known as the Wanderers and also the Whites, they used to be called the Trotters, or sometimes are still called the Trotters. Now the reason for that is when they had their ground at Pikes Lane, it was next to a piggery, so when the ball went over the stand, to get the ball back they had to trot across to go and get the ball back through all the mud. That's why Bolton, the Trotters. If you've watched my channel before, you'll know I'm a sucker for a blue plaque. There's one here. Let's see what it says. This is to commemorate that Bolton Wanderers are a founder member of the Football League, dating back to 1888. And here's a map of the ground. You've got the West Stand we've just seen, Nat Lofthouse East Stand, North Stand, and the South Stand. It's a great ground, this. There's even a hotel on the side as well. The ground is really accessible to get to, just off the motorway, and then you've got a short drive, a couple of 100 yards before you turn onto this retail park here. Plenty of car parking. There's a Costa nearby, there's a Subway, there's a Harvester. There's all different things available here for entertaining and eating on match day. And here's the Bolton Stadium Hotel. That's grand. I like it. It's good when clubs utilise their space on other days, not just match days. Here at the Tough Sheet Stadium, Bolton. At this stadium, you haven't got gold, you haven't got myrrh, but you've got frankincense, the sponsor of the South Stand. This is the Community Wellbeing Hub. One club, one community, one town. Bolton Wanderers. And here we are inside the stadium. What a beautiful ground this is. Look at an amazing playing surface. And here's the dugouts as well. This is brilliant. Well done, Bolton. Here at the Tough Sheet Stadium. Thank you, Bolton. I feel like I'm on Sky Sports now being interviewed. And here we are in the dressing room for Bolton Wanderers. Excellence is the gradual result of always wanting to do better. The one and only Wanderers play to win. I'm in the commentary gantry now. Look at this. This is amazing. Really enjoyed that tour around the Tough Sheet Stadium here at Bolton. They were 4 times FA Cup winners, and they played in the UEFA Cup in the early 2000s, mid-2000s, with such great players such as Jussi Jääskeläinen, Kevin Davis, JJ Okocha, Nat Lofthouse, Ivan Campo, Nicholas Anelka, Kevin Nolan, Djurkov, El Hadjdiouf, Jason McAteer, John McGinley and Emil Heskey. A great club, a great heritage, a fantastic club. Thank you, Bolton. I'm now at the Salford City ground, the Peninsula Stadium. Now it's closed off, so I can't get as close to this one as some other grounds, but have a look, see what we can find out. So Salford City were formed in 1940 and they're currently in League Two. Salford City were formed in 1940. In 2014, they were taken over by a group of former Man United players. You got Phil Neville, Gary Neville, Ryan Giggs, Nicky Butt, Paul Scholes, and some bloke called David Beckham. They were known as the Project 92 Limited. Salford City haven't always been called Salford City. They used to be known as the Ammies, because in the 60s and 70s they were known as Salford Amateurs. So that's Salford City. Their club anthem is Dirty Old Town by the Pogues. Now it's a fairly small ground, but it's got all this nice country feel to the area. There's a park across the road. There's these shrubs on the outskirts of the main stand here. And it's not many grounds where you get spring flowers, such as primulas, outside the sponsors and the guest lounge. This there is the club shop and ticket office. And here's the map of the ground. You've got Moor Lane where I'm stood now. The away end to the left. On the other side is Neville Road. Don't know whether that's named after Gary and Phil, not spelt the same. And that's where we are. And you can see some of the match day stuff at the end, the home end here. So obviously where you have some drinks and some stands and some fan zone area. Outside, the home end. And whilst we can't see too much of the ground, you can see one end there, you can see some of the flags in that corner of the ground here next to the club shop and the ticket office. The flag there for Salford City. There's a pretty cool flag there. There's like the Marmite jar that says Salford. It says you either love us or you hate us. And you can see the ground there, the full length of the pitch, the seating and the standing on the end to the right. One pretty cool thing is the club shop and ticket office. The club logo of the lion's head is also the shape of the floodlight as well. I particularly like this bit here where it says football is life, channeling their inner Danny Rojas from Ted Lasso here at Salford City. This is Manchester City. This is the Etihad Stadium. Let's go and have a look round here at the home of the current Premier League champions. From the outside of the ground, it's an impressive looking sight. I do like the walkways up to the higher sections of the ground, these circular sections that are part of the structure. Good opportunity to have lots of information on there about previous victories they've won. As we walk around the ground, it's a busy area. There's people exercising, there's people coming for photos, there's people from all over the world that have come to Manchester, that come to the Etihad, come to see Manchester City. As you walk towards the ground, you see the big sign that says champions, history makers, 4 in a row, having won the last 4 Premier Leagues. This here is the column bell stand, the bell end, the west reception. This is the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City's success isn't just a recent thing. Back in the late 60s they were very impressive and they won lots of things then as well. There's a statue behind of some of the players, so let's see who is commemorated here at the ground. Here you've got a statue of Colin Bell, Francis Lee and Mike Summerbee. Legends of the Manchester City club. Legends of their past. Legends of football. They're very big at this ground about publicising their successes. And why not? They've been Manchester City since 1894. But first they were known as St Mark's Church, West Gorton, in 1880. There's a lot of history with this club. Lots of trophies, lots of medals, lots of talking points. 10 league titles, 7 FA Cups, 8 League Cups, 1 Champions League, 1 European Cup Winners' Cup. As I said earlier, they were successful in the late 60s and early 70s, but then went on a bit of a decline during the 80s, including relegation down a couple of divisions. But in 2008, the Abu Dhabi United group took over, and their first success of this new era came in the FA Cup win of 2011, followed by the Premier League the following year. Manchester City were back. I recognise at all grounds it isn't all about success on the pitch. It's not all about trophies. It's about connection, it's about community. And behind me is a garden of remembrance. Football grounds nowadays are more than just a functional set of 4 stands to have home and away supporters. It's about experience, it's about feeling part of it. Now here, at the ground here of Manchester City, there's lots around the ground to see. There's all the posters, there's all the kind of memories from the ground, from the club's history. Let's have a look at this map here to see more of the ground. It's a busy old place, this. I do like a ground where you can walk all the way around it. You can see and experience a lot more of the club, the experience and everything about a club here at Manchester City's ground, the Etihad Stadium. Now obviously if I was going into the ground, I need to use this entrance because this is where legends go in. Right, while you're here, hope you're enjoying watching this video. Don't forget to click like, click subscribe for more videos like this around towns and cities around the country. Thanks for watching. Right, where next? Now if you're a fan of football, you will remember certain key moments in football history which are memorable. Now, the Aguero moment is something that's talked about still to this day. Let's go and talk to a bloke who knows a bit more about it. In May 2012, Manchester City played Queen's Park Rangers on the last game of the season. They entered the match first place on goal difference, being level on 86 points with their local rivals, Manchester United. They need to match or better United's result while they were playing Sunderland at the Stadium of Light to win the league. QPR were winning 2-1 with less than 3 minutes to go. And then an equaliser happened. And then with 100 seconds left to go, with Manchester City currently looking like they were going to finish second in the league to their local rivals, this man, Sergio Aguero, scored the winner to win their first league title since 1967 to 1968. Sergio Aguero and the Aguero moment. What a memorable time that was. Aguero! Is this right? The best sandwich in football? If you think you know a better one, let me know in the comments. I've just been talking to some Belgian football fans here, having a nice chat with them. They're obviously very keen to see Vincent Kompany, captain, leader, warrior, Vincent Kompany. And another statue here, David Silva, the man with a magical left foot. I do like grounds that have statues of former players around their ground. It's good to remember the history. It's good to celebrate players that have done well for them. I don't think every player that's done well deserves to get one, but when it's certainly a magical time for the club, or if they've served the club really well, like Vincent Kompany, why not? Let's celebrate the great players and the great people who are magical for their club. I like it when a club has an anthem. Here at Manchester City, it's Blue Moon. How do we know? Because it's written on the floor. Blue Moon. You saw me standing alone here at Manchester City. So here's the Etihad. Spin the camera around. Here's the Manchester City Football Academy. The ground that's next to the ground. Let's see how close we can get to have a look at this. And here is the academy ground. Just a stone's throw away from the Etihad there. And here we have the Joy Stadium. Not sure how you pronounce that, but you've got the 4 stands here. Of Manchester City's academy. Next up on my travels, I'm here at Stockport County's ground, Edgeley Park. They're in League One, but they were formed in 1883. Back then they were known as Heaton Norris Rovers. Now Stockport County are playing in League One after being the champions of League Two last season. Stockport County have played here at Edgeley Park since 1902, and some of their former players gave their lives serving in the First World War 1914 to 1918, and here on the wall of one of the stands is a plaque commemorating those who gave their lives. Rest in peace. Now if you know anything about Stockport County, you'll know about this bloke. The legendary manager of theirs that was Danny Bergera, the Uruguayan manager. And here he is, celebrating outside the ground. Apparently the statue's life-size. Here's little Danny. Wasn't a tall man, but he was a good manager. Danny was the first manager born outside the British Isles to lead an English club out at Wembley when he took Stockport County to the 1992 Autoglass Trophy final. Now there's a quiz question for you to ask your friends down the pub. Wow, well done Danny. Stockport County are known as the Hatters. The Hatters because of the hat making industry in the town of Stockport. Not too sure why there's a frog here. I think it's some part of a charity thing that's going on in the town of Stockport. This is one giant leap. This one dressed up as a hatter for Stockport County. Here's the stadium map. This end, the Cheadle end. The stand on the left-hand side on the main road is the Danny Bergera stand. Opposite end is the Vitality Railway end. And then the Together stand. Ah, that's nice. Together. We want to be together. Right, let's see what we can see round the ground. This is pretty cool fan zone area for fans to congregate before the game, have a drink, have some street food, have a chat with all their friends before they go into the game. All the talk of the fixture, all the talk of who's in the team that day. That's good. The county courtyard. The old brick stand here, down the side here, the Danny Bergera stand. The Stockport County AFC sign. But if you know me, you know I like blue plaques. I can see 2 there. Let's go and take a closer look. This one here is from Stockport Heritage Trust, Stockport County FC, founded in 1883 as Heaton Norris Rovers. The club changed its name in 1890 to Stockport County, and they joined the Football League in 1900 and moved to Edgeley Park 2 years later. I think I've already told you that, but there's a blue plaque to confirm this. And it's not just the round ball, there's the oval one as well. This is celebrating the birth of rugby league. On this site, in the 7th of September 1895, Stockport played their first home game under the rules of rugby league, then known as the Northern Union. Stockport against Brighouse. I didn't know that. Rugby league in Stockport. You can see it's a very traditional stand, this one here. But they've got some more modern additions to the ground. You've got here the Community Trust and the entrance to the Vitality Railway end. I'm guessing there's a railway down there. And here we are inside Edgeley Park, preparing the pitch for match day. Stockport County. Very good. Good luck. Stockport County are actually in Cheshire rather than Greater Manchester, but they are just 7 miles away from Manchester United and Manchester City, so it's hard to attract new fans in the shadow of the giants nearby. But in the 98-99 season, Stockport County were actually a division above Manchester City. So it shows that with the right backing and the right hope and the right opportunities, every team can have their day. I'm now at Old Trafford, home of Manchester United. Let's show you around this ground here. It's not match day, but there's enough people here to fill many League Two grounds. There's a lot of people here, a lot of tourists, and maybe 1 or 2 YouTubers as well, filming Manchester United's ground, Old Trafford. Outside the ground you've got a number of statues. There's one here of what is called the United Trinity. And these 3 gentlemen at the top, George Best, Dennis Law and Bobby Charlton. Legends of the game. All around the perimeter of the area you've got photos from the memories that I've had over the years. There's Dwight York and Andy Cole there. There's hot dogs available, even though there's no match on. The mega stores here. And seeing as that road there is Sir Matt Busby Way, it's only right we come and have a look at Sir Matt Busby's statue up here. So Manchester United are one of the most successful English sides ever to have played football. They were formed in 1878 as Newton Heath Football Club before changing name and moving to Old Trafford in 1910. They have a record 20 top-flight league titles, 13 FA Cups, 6 League Cups. They've won the European Cup or Champions League 3 times. They've won the Europa League and the Cup Winners' Cup. But it was under Matt Busby where United were the first English club to compete in the European Cup. But in February 1958, tragedy struck. Attempting to take off for a 3rd time from Munich, their plane crashed in the snow, leading to 23 people dying. Sir Matt Busby was the manager at the time. The Busby Babes, a number of the players died. The club secretary died. Some reporters died as well. It was a terrible, terrible tragedy. But Sir Matt managed to rebuild the team, rebuild Manchester United, and 10 years later on, he built the next generation of Busby Babes with Dennis Law, with George Best and Bobby Charlton, who was also in Munich that night. Sir Matt Busby rebuilt Manchester United. There's people selling half and half scarves. There's all these tourists who've come to see Manchester United at Old Trafford. But what about the ground itself? Some complain it's falling apart in areas. Let's see what we can see around the outside of the ground. To get around the side of the ground you have to go under this section that's underneath part of the ground. This side is the Sir Alex Ferguson stand. Now let me tell you about Sir Alex. Top level football between 1986 and 2013 was definitely the Sir Alex Ferguson era, and the club hasn't sustained much success since then. They're on their 10th manager now since Sir Alex retired. But it just shows that Sir Alex had such an impact. He ran this club. Everything he wanted happened here. If he didn't like a player, the player went. He had so much control and he had so much success. Sir Alex hasn't been rivalled at Manchester United since his retirement in 2013. Only Pep Guardiola at Manchester City has come close to his legacy. But who is better, Sir Alex or Pep? Let me know in the comments below. This here is the VIP section in the Sir Alex Ferguson stand. Is this where I'm supposed to go? VIP? Yes. And we're coming up to the Stretford end of the ground. It says you are here. You can see on there, the left-hand side of the screen, Stretford end, Sir Alex Ferguson stand. Other side is Sir Bobby Charlton stand, and then the East stand on the other side. Manchester United, Old Trafford. And here, just above the doorway, we've got a memorial commissioned and funded by Manchester United supporters worldwide in honour of a great man, Sir Matt Busby, CBE, 1909 to 1994. Not just that, there's the tunnel that says the Theatre of Dreams. Down there is pitch side, the Theatre of Dreams, Old Trafford. This here, the Sir Bobby Charlton stand. And here, some displays of their historical past. Sir Matt Busby said it was his greatest moment. He'd lived for it for so long. The combination of all his ideas, his ambitions. 10 years on from the Munich disaster, winning the European Cup against Benfica at Wembley. Can you imagine nowadays if one of the top sides in Europe had a tragedy like this? This here says, before the tragedy at Munich, the club belonged to Manchester, but afterwards Manchester United captured the imagination of the entire world. It says here that 8 great football stalwarts conceded victory. 8 men who will never play again met destruction there. The flowers of British football, the flowers of Manchester. And here's a picture of the players who perished. This plaque was unveiled on the 50th anniversary of the Munich air disaster, 6th of February 1958. When tragedy strikes a club, it doesn't just hit the community, it hits the whole of football, it hits home, everywhere. Now there's a thing over the last few years or so where people are trying to cut out the tragedy chants and stuff that happen at grounds, and a number of clubs have been guilty of that, but we should all come together as one football community. We should pull together as one to support the football community together as one, united. While Manchester United have fallen off this last few years or so, they've not been at the top of the game like they have been in years previously. Who knows what the future holds for the club? Will they rebuild? Will they succumb to the pressure around them, to rebuild, to rise up? Because, like it or not, Manchester United are one of the top English sides in our history. Wouldn't it be good to see all clubs doing the very best they can? Let's see whether they rise to winning ways once again. So this just about wraps up my tour of the football clubs of the Greater Manchester area. I'll come back and I'll do some of the wider Lancastrian clubs and also the Merseyside clubs as well. There are other videos you might want to look at in the playlist of my tour around football grounds. There's also my regular videos as well here on the Rich Lord Travels channel. So please click subscribe and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye for now. Up the Villa.